Your old pal Meghan Markle had some bad news, double shot of bad news over the past week. First, Netflix canceled her debut animated series, Pearl, which is going to be about some woke little 12-year-old discovering her wokeness, as far as I can tell from the descriptions.
Hey everyone. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, has hit a snag in her career. Her big Netflix show about lifestyle has been put on hold. This comes after her podcast, Archetypes, got cancelled earlier this year. That podcast about what it means to be a woman didn't really catch on with listeners, so this Netflix delay makes people wonder what's next for Meghan's career, now that she's not a working royal. The Netflix show, maybe called American Riviera Orchard, was supposed to be about lifestyle, home and garden stuff. Inspired by her life in California, Meghan wanted to share her ideas about healthy living. The show was also connected to her lifestyle brand with the same name, but the brand has run into some legal trouble with copyrights, and that's why the show is on hold.
Shockingly, even Netflix has decided that won't work. So they pulled it, and she's scrubbed it now from her Archwell Foundation website. Nobody wants to see that. They're absolutely right. So first project does not even get off the ground before it's canceled. And then secondly, the Queen, you mentioned she's going to have her Jubilee, her 75th anniversary on the throne in a couple of weeks. And she has decided who will be on the official balcony, which, you know, you can explain to us why that matters, but not everybody gets up there with her. And these two did not make the cut. Meghan and Harry are not on the list. Neither is Prince Andrew. And it almost seems like there's sort of an A list of royals now and a B or D list of royals now. And these two are suddenly realizing they're on the ladder.
Yeah, well, and quite rightly too. I think it's a very interesting double whammy, because what these two have tried to do is set up a rival royal family, but without any of the boring bits. They don't want to do any of the duty that goes with having royal titles. What they've done is move out of the country, go to California, set up a rival royal entity, which exploits their royal titles, Duke and Duchess, for hundreds of millions of dollars to gullible companies like Spotify and Netflix. You think they're interesting. Well, they're not interesting. They just blather away with their hypocritical, pious, woke homilies on life. And it gets very boring over time. And as we now see, when she comes up with this idea of an animated series based on her own wondrously inspiring story, Netflix, who are having financial problems at the moment, have looked at the numbers and gone, no one's going to watch this. Why would they? Why would they want to talk about her being some iconic, inspiring figure? She's not. So they've canned it, which is, I would think, a really worrying moment for the Sussex brand, because they rely on their nonsense being worth a lot of money to these companies. Then you have the double whammy of the Queen deciding that the balcony is not going to have them for the famous Trooping of the Colour, which is a huge celebration of pageantry in the UK around the Queen's birthday. And this time will be honouring, of course, the Platinum Jubilee, 70 years on the throne. And if you're on the balcony, you're one of the top royal players. And the royals, in the end, are probably the biggest stars in the world and have been for the last century. So if you're on the top tier, literally, the balcony, you're one of the biggest stars in the world. The moment you get shoved off the balcony, then you're deemed to be a lesser royal. So they've got problems in their renegade royal life, and they've now got problems in the real world of their royal status, because the royal family have gone, you know what, we're only going to have people on the balcony who actually put a shift in, who actually do their duty, who earn their royal titles.
Meghan's American Riviera Orchard brand was all about organic and local products. She's a big fan of healthy living, and she wanted her brand to show that. She even sent gift baskets with homemade jams and fancy treats to famous people and influencers. It seemed like a good start, with lots of buzz and over 100,000 people signing up on the website. But these copyright problems have put everything on hold. We don't know all the details, but the legal stuff is the reason the Netflix show is delayed. This is a big deal because the show was supposed to be a huge boost for the brand. Now everyone's wondering if the brand can bounce back from this.
Who don't trash us and the monarchy morning, noon, or night. Who don't constantly give interviews rubbishing everything that we stand for. And I say, hallelujah, should have done that a long time ago, Your Majesty, and go a bit further and take away their royal titles altogether. They don't deserve them. And by their own yardstick, if the monarchy's that bad, they shouldn't want them.
There's reporting out right now that Tina Brown's got this new book out about the royals, and her reporting is that Meghan Markle didn't understand that Princess Diana, who she wanted to be just like, quote, had to work like a dog for more than a decade within the royal family before becoming a global humanitarian superstar. She says, Tina Brown says, it was Diana's charisma that she brought to the job that made her so extraordinarily special. But Meghan didn't realize that for 16 or 17 years, Diana was working like this, doing a great deal of very humdrum assignments before the world fell in love with her. You can't just snap your fingers and be Diana.
No, you can't. And she isn't fit to lace Diana's regal boots. I knew Diana well. Had lunch with her and William, just the three of us at Kensington Palace. Used to speak to her on the phone quite regularly. I knew her well. She was the biggest superstar in the world that I've ever seen, actually. Bigger than anyone you could think of. A mesmerizing beauty who captivated the world. And when she died, it was one of the biggest shocks to the planet that any individual's death has ever caused. So the idea that Meghan Markle is anywhere near that level of fame or reverence or that the public feel the same way about her is complete nonsense. As is, by the way, her continued kind of, oh, I didn't know that's what royal life was like. Yes, you did. You just didn't fancy putting the shifts in. She just didn't want to go to the north of England on a wet Wednesday and open a flower show. But that's what all the royals do. They do stuff like that. They do dreary, dutiful work because in return they live in palaces and have servants and the rest of it. But Meghan Markle wanted all the good stuff. She didn't want to do any work for it. So instead she thought, I'll take Harry back to California, set up a rival royal family, and we'll sell the royal status we have to the highest bidder, which is ruthlessly commercial and is now falling flat on their faces because these companies like Netflix have overstretched themselves with their commitment to these two, realize they're getting nothing of any value back, and they're seeing the status of Meghan and Harry diminished by the Queen with this balcony decision. So they're thinking, well, who have we got here? We've got some lower tier royals who constantly whine about everything, produce very boring woke content at a time when we need more eyeballs. No thanks. So my prediction is that they will carry on losing their deals because they have nothing else of value other than trashing the family. And the family's decided we're going to distance ourselves from these two. And so they can't even get the access they want to their own members of their own family. I mean, quite an extraordinary situation, but that's where we are.
So you're exactly right, because the Netflix is reportedly angry that Prince Harry gave an interview to NBC while he's on their payroll for $100 million, supposed to give them content about the royals and his life and so on. And meanwhile, they got stuck doing some documentary about his Invictus games, and the real dish he saved, apparently. And there's a report that they want him and Meghan to start talking about the royal family in order to earn that $100 million. And they don't want to hear about 12-year-old little Pearl. And they're not that into the backstories of the Invictus games. And in the same way, Spotify just dumped Michelle Obama, who didn't want to talk about Michelle Obama. She wanted to talk about just whatever woke content she was pushing. They dumped her. Meghan Markle's first project gets dumped. And now they're reportedly under pressure by Netflix to deliver what they implicitly promised, which is stories about the royal family. And now, Piers, you tell me, I'm thinking, because I read that the British Royal Guard or the Palace Royal Guard is trying to say no Netflix cameras when you come over here for the Jubilee. You're not going to be filming this. But now, with or without those cameras, they're going to have to worry that everything these two attend is going to wind up on some Netflix show.
It's such a tacky situation. And the Queen has to be protected from this nonsense. She's been so magnificent for 7 decades on the throne. One of the longest serving leaders in the history of this planet. One of the most respected, even if you don't like the monarchy, people respect her. Deeply beloved in this country, 96 years old, lost her husband after 70 years of marriage, Prince Philip, still grieving him, got the terrible scandal of her son, Andrew, paying millions to pay off a woman who claimed that she was underage when he had sex with her and so on. So she's had a real series of batterings. And the very last thing she needs are these two yapping, whining, moaning hypocrites, the Sussexes, cashing in on being royals, dumping on the royal family, dumping on the monarchy, making her look bad, making her life more difficult at a time when she's supposed to be celebrating the Platinum Jubilee, which makes her the longest reigning monarch in British history. And this country wants to celebrate that, not have to worry about these two with their Netflix crew trying to exploit it for personal financial gain. If I was a queen, I'd just ban them from coming altogether. Just don't let them in. Just say, no, you stay in California. You made your bed. You made your bed with your soya lattes. You drink those on your Montecito gardens and leave us alone, thanks.
Yeah. Oprah's your new queen. What do you make of the fact that they're dangling the grandkids now as the lure? I guess the great grandkids. So they're saying they are going to bring
shameless.
The little Archie and Lilibet, whose name they stole from the Queen, as they were calling her family racist. They're saying we're going to come back and we're taking the children too. So more attention to them.
They, if you may remember, one of the reasons they left the country was to protect the privacy of their kids, and yet all they do is put them out there. Mm-hmm. And you can bet your life they're going to pop up in their Netflix documentaries. Right? You can see it now, right?
Yes.
We already, when she did her one Spotify podcast, you heard one of the kids' voices on that. They're completely shameless and rankly hypocritical. They always do the opposite to what they say they're about. They claim to be about privacy. They do endless interviews. They claim they want to protect their kids' privacy. They constantly use them, and they will continue to use them, and so on and so on.
Are the high fuel costs putting a damper on your summer vacation plans? From higher prices at the pump to a jump in airfare, it's getting more expensive to get away for a week. But what if you could soak up those vacation vibes year-round? Get a Michael Phelps Swim Spa by Master Spas. Whether you want to stay close to home this summer or just want to extend your break, a Michael Phelps Swim Spa by Master Spas can transform your backyard into an oasis. It combines the benefits of a pool with the therapy of a hot tub. Michael Phelps Swim Spas by Master Spas have a water current so you can swim, you can do aquatic exercises, you can just have fun with the kids. This is going to reinvent family time. You'll love it and your family and friends will too. Michael Phelps Swim Spas by Master Spas come in a variety of sizes to complement almost any yard, even if it's a small one. And since it's heated, you can use it year-round in any climate. Michael Phelps Swim Spas are 100% made in the USA by Master Spas, the world's largest swim spa manufacturer. Go to masterspas.com, put in the promo code MK to save $1,000 on a Michael Phelps Swim Spa or $500 on a Master Spas hot tub. That's masterspas.com, promo code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.
This Netflix delay is a big moment for Meghan's career. After the podcast got cancelled, this show was supposed to be her comeback. If it did well, it would have really cemented her place in the world of lifestyle and entertainment. But now, with both the podcast and the show facing problems, things are looking uncertain. PR expert Mark Borkowski, who knows a lot about celebrity branding, said these projects were really important for Meghan. If they worked, she would have become even more influential. But these setbacks could hurt her reputation and make it harder to do new projects in the future. The next few months will be key for Meghan as she figures things out. Even with these bumps in the road, Meghan is still working with Netflix. They've said they have other projects in the works, like a scripted series, a movie, and more unscripted shows. We don't know much about them yet, but it shows that Netflix still wants to work with Meghan and Prince Harry. Prince Harry has always supported his wife's goals. He's been involved in the creative side of things, especially for projects related to their charities. His support hasn't made everything a success, but it shows they're working together to build their careers. We'll have to wait and see what happens next for Meghan.